Good afternoon. So the topic is not easy to understand. So we move very slowly. Okay, please turn page number 132, 132. The second paragraph. So before we start, at the beginning, Lama Tsongkhapa said, it is so important to recognize, identify the object of negation, right? Object of negation. Before you negate the negation, you must identify very carefully, very carefully. If you're not able to identify the object of negation, then you will have two big problems. Whether you fall into nihilism or absolutism. If you don't identify object of negation, then you cannot realize emptiness. If you're not able to realize emptiness, then for you everything exists intrinsically. When you see things around you exist as intrinsically, then your mind clinging with the all phenomena as a real. Then you cannot reduce all the negative thoughts. Then all the negative karmas, positive karma arise continuously. Then you continuously born in a samsara forever. Then this is one part. And before the Lama Tsongkhapa in Tibet, or during his lifetime, there were some Tibetan masters who claim themselves, I follow Madhyamaka, I teach the Madhyamaka's view. When they teach to the disciples, there's nothing exists. Everything is empty. Mean they totally lead all the disciples into nihilation. There's nothing exists. For them, how is happen? Because they use, sudden logics, sudden reasonings. One, when we say something inherently, independently arises, then we got how many options? 4 options, right? Something arises independently, inherently, then there must be only 4 possibilities, 4 options. What are the 4 options? Arising, self-arising, arising from other, arising from both, arising from causeless. Right? For example, how many states in Singapore? States, you don't have your province? You have what? District. How many district do you have? Many? Yeah. Whereas you really don't know how many districts you have. Let's say six, districts. 6. Then when you say, I am Singaporean, they will ask which district you belong. If you don't belongs to any district, then doesn't make sense. You say I am Singaporean. You got only 4 districts, to belong, right? Same thing. Generally, okay. We believe also we can see some things arising, growing, arising, right? Is arising independently or arising dependently? Yes, we say arising dependently. Then, if arising independently, then there's only 4 possibility, right? Arising is self, arising other, arising both from both, causeless. They use this logic. They said if something arising, if you accept, if you assert production, right? Production means everything, like table, chair, food, people, human being, everything is a production. If you believe in production, the production must be produced from only 4 possibility for them. Then number 1, if you think the things arise is self, it doesn't make sense, right? Nothing happen is self. Also, sometimes we use, it happened automatically, right? There's nothing happen automatically. It happen depend on something. That's why if you claim, if you assert something arise is self, it doesn't make sense. Something arise causeless, again, doesn't make sense. And nothing arise is self, then they cannot be arise both, because one is already not there. Then now last, arising from other, right? For example, the sprout is different from the seed. The seeds also different from the sprout. Seed and sprout is different. Is each other, different each other. It doesn't mean the sprout arising from other. The definition of arising from other is not just simply the cause and effects, different each other. No. The definition of arising from other means arising from substantially. Clear? Arising from substantially. Substantial arising is the definition of arising from other. So it bit, going to heavy for in your mind. I link with some other schools. Within the non-Buddhist school, do you know the proponent who totally don't accept cause and effect? Do you remember which one? Within the non-Buddhist refer to, the Indian, like Asian religion. Sometimes somebody believe arising from causeless, arising from not depend on other. Do you remember the school? Sankhya? Sankhya is total don't believe in previous life, right? Do you remember this one? Sankhya and no. Jainism was anyway. So within the non-Buddhist school, there's a school. They believe everything, exists independently. For example, they said the water running from usually water cannot run up, run always down. And when you see some plant had a very sting, sharp things, they say everything happens naturally. There's no causes condition. They believe arising something arise from causeless. So it's linked with their school. Then among the four Buddhist schools, except how many schools within the Madhyamaka? There are two sub-schools. What are they? Swatantika and Pasangika. Pasangika. Except Pasangika, rest of the four Buddhist school accept substantial arising. Also, the Pasangika reject that view. Okay? Then both arising from self, arising from others also accept one of the Buddhist schools. It's why the Madhyamaka reject all the view. So, view of arising from causeless, arising from others, arising from both. Then arising from what? Self. Totally reject. Is linked with the four schools. Therefore, during the Lama Tsongkhapa or before his life, there were some Tibetan master who claim, who assert there's no production. If there's a production, the production must be produced from only four of them, right? If there's a production, the production must be produced from itself, produced from other, produced from both, produced from causeless. So we don't accept four of them. They say, therefore, there's no production. The Tibetan masters mix up arising from, the conventional arising and arising, ultimately. They mix up together. There's actually the 4 points. They reject the substantially arising, inherently arising. They reject ultimate arising, but it's not reject. It's not, negate the conventional arising. They mix up two of them, right? That's why there's a lot of, argument and debate between them. Then also rest of the other school except the consequence school, right? Pasangika. Except Pasangika. Other school thought, proponents thought, if something arising, if something is there, there must be exist substantially. I told you, for example, this is table, this is book. This piece of phenomena became a book. This piece of phenomena became a table. I'm not saying this table became a table. For example, before there's one piece of phenomena, then we name as a table, we give a name as a book. They thought, in order to become a table, there must be some uniqueness must be there. Some uniqueness must be there. Otherwise, how it became table, why it is not become a table? They thought, there must be something. Right? Same thing, as a Buddhist, we believe in karma. Right? Karma. We believe in next life. Right? Then the non-Buddhists who don't believe in next life, previous life, they say there's not such as next and previous life. Because there's not separate mind and body. right? So they give the analogy, painting on the wall, right? When you make a painting on the wall, when the wall collapse, the painting must be collapsed, no more there. And another analogy, alcohol and the energy cannot, what do you call alcohol? When you drink alcohol, you get drunk. Why? Alcohol has what? Energy? What do you use? Substance or energy? Do you know if you really like to drink alcohol, you don't want to get drink, what do you need to do?
You like alcohol but you don't want to drunk?
Yeah. Guess.
Smell.
Smell, you're not drinking, you are smelling, testing the smell. That's why if you really like to drink the alcohol, you don't want to get drunk, you just boil the alcohol. Boil, maybe for a few minutes. Then all the, the energy going to disappear. The taste is still there, but you need to get cool. Taste is there, you cannot get drunk. There's alcohol and alcohol energy. You cannot see really separately, right? So there's no separate your body and your mind. After you dead, your body is on the ground, on the bed. Then no more consciousness. There's no next life. If I ask you this question, all of you believe in next life, right? Previous life. Your body will remain on the ground. So how are you really going to go next life? How are you going? Who is going? Huh? Consciousness. Not you. You're not going to go next life. You send in your consciousness. Is possible? Yes, you say yes, is quite, very obvious. I can see, because if you say, I am not going, my consciousness is going. Therefore you think, me and my consciousness is separate. Because you say, I'm not going, my consciousness is going. Right? That means you think you and your mind is totally different entity, different, total two separate phenomena. Right? That means still you have a very strong non-Buddhist view. Right? Non-Buddhist, because non-Buddhists believe in self, permanent, eternal, singleness. Right? Still you have this concept, belief. This belief can be influenced by certain religion, or maybe it arises innately, naturally. Okay? So you need to think. One day, I think many years ago, His Holiness Dalai Lama attended a religious conference. Do you remember I told the story? Then there was a Muslim scholar. He said, in the ancient time, we don't know when, in the ancient, many years ago, somebody raised 3 questions. What are the 3 questions? They raise 3 questions. Question number 1, who you are. Who you are. Okay? Question number 2, where you come from. Question number 3, after you dead, where you going? 3 questions, very important. 3 questions there. Then there are so many different answers. Clear? Question number 1, who you are? Are you body? Are you mind? Who you are? Question number 2, where you come from? Question number 3, where you going after you? Now you are not going anywhere. Huh? Don't worry. Where you going after you died? Now you can say who you are. Therefore, you can see now Islamic, Christian, Hindu, who you are. I am a soul. That means you know your body is not you. Your body is not going to go to heaven and hell. Who go? My soul. That means they recognize you as a soul. And Hindu believe into Atma, Anatma. We believe Anatma. Hindu believe Atma. Atma means exactly eternal, permanent, singleness. Because if you believe previous life, so you come from where? That means you see, I not only come from previous life, maybe the previous life. That means that means Atma permanent. They're never going to disappear. Right? That means who you are. That means soul, Atma, Anatma. We Buddhists believe Anatma. Then where you come from? Come from where? Again, Islamic, right? Islam, Christianity. Believe what? Creator. I'm not coming from anywhere. The God created me. The God created this world. That means I'm come from God and Allah. Right? This is the answer. But Buddhists, no. Because the Buddhism is kind of one of the newest religion in India. Before there was a lot of different Hindus. Then there's a Jainism. So when Buddhism, emerged in India, they think about all the different religion views. They thought, believe in God doesn't make sense. Created by a God doesn't make sense. Atma doesn't make sense. That means they study about the external phenomena, how things arising. There you can see, this is why Buddhists take sprout, flower, fruits, right? So many things. They study about the external phenomena. Sprout come from where? Seed. Then the seeds come from where? The previous seeds. The previous seed come from where? The previous seed. Right? They thought, then this must be karma. Is karma. Because everything happened to you because of the action. That's why they believe I am come from my previous life. Previous life come from my previous life. They believe into beginningless. Right? Then third question, after you dead, where are you going? After you died, right? Died. Where are you going? Where are you going? Where will you go? Pardo. After Pardo, where will you go? Look like, we are totally refugee. Look like we are totally refugee in a place. We never know where we're going to get refuge. Like we are look like, if we have a meeting, okay, everybody going to die tomorrow. Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? Then say, definitely we will go Pardo. After Pardo, don't know. right? Same thing. That's why the Buddhist, Hindu, Christian, Islam, other people, other religion believe after you dead, you got only two, heaven and hell. That's why all the Christian people, Muslim, they believe go down and up, only two options. It's same for us. After you dead, you go to heaven, like we call, higher realms, lower realms, similar meaning. But within the Christianity, within the Muslim, they never ask question, how long I have to stay in the hell, right? How long? Because I have to go to hell because I accumulate sin, right? Then due to the sin, I got punishment. I have to go to hell. For example, when you go in prison, so one day definitely you will come out, get out from prison after you finish what? Over your sentence time. Then, according to Christian, we can ask, okay, yeah, you can say you're going to go to hell. How long? Heaven, how long? Right? That's why they try to answer where we go after we died. Then Buddhists also same. Lower realms, higher realms. It depends on our karma. Exactly Christian and Muslim all same. Why somebody going to go to heaven? Why somebody have to go to hell? Because of sin. Go hell. Because of the, what the opposite of the sin? Virtues. So due to the virtues, you go to up. Same thing, right? But we defend us, yes, due to the karma, I'll go in lower realm, higher realms, is a certain time, it will change, right? That's why they are taught to answer for three questions. So Buddhism is the kind of very new religion. They did a lot of study about other religion. That's why they reject notion of God, right? If you believe in God, then what? If you believe in God, who created the God? When, the God, who created the God? They ask this question. For example, you say, I born from my parents. Then your parents born from whom? By our grandparents, great parents. Continue. We can ask same thing. You created by God. The God who did create the God? Right? Then they thought believing in God doesn't make sense. Then finally they thought everything happened around us. Good thing happen, bad thing happen through causes and condition. It happen because of dependently, not independently. That's why the concept of dependent arising, you can see within only in Buddhist, dependent arising, right? Therefore, within the Buddhist school, 4 schools, below the Madhyamaka school, even though within the Madhyamaka, also they thought there must be something to be table, to be book, to be house. There must be something, right? That's why they believe into what called essentialist. Then the Nagarjuna schools, Acharya Nagarjuna thought he can see is very contradiction. Is arising, independently, believe into independent arising and depend on causes condition is totally contradictory, right? If you believe in arising from causes condition, you should not believe arising independently. If you believe in independently arising, you should not believe in Yeah, causes and condition. Erasm is contradict. Clear? If you believe, if you think everything around you arises from causes condition, you must reject. You must, refute independent phenomena. If you believe in independent phenomena, you must refute arising from causes condition. They can see contradict. But other sukul is also opposite. If everything lack inherent existence, then it's impossible to believe in causes condition. Right? Causes condition. That's why they have a lot of discussion. So I just thought before we go in. Okay, second paragraph, 132, the page number. Therefore, those who currently claim to teach the meaning of Madhyamaka, okay, is here Madhyamaka, emptiness, interdependent arising is a same meaning. Meaning of Madhyamaka are actually giving the position of, giving the position of what? Essentialist. That means actually, you try to teach emptiness. You claim yourself teaching emptiness. Actually, you are teaching the essentialist position, right? Position on the essentialist. When they hold that all cause and effect, such as the agents. Who is the agent? Agents? Agent means the living being. We are agent. We are agent. Agent and object of production are impossible in the absence of intrinsic existence. Right? That means those masters, claim I'm teaching Madhyamaka. I'm teaching Madhyamaka. Actually, they are giving the position of essentialist view, because when they hold their thought, it is impossible to accept agents, object of production, if you believe in absence of what? Intrinsic existence. Clear? If you assert, if you believe absence of intrinsic existence, therefore you impossible to believe in agents, object of production, and so. Right? That means you should think, if everything is absence of intrinsic existence, then nothing possible. Clear? Nothing possible. For example, the flower, the nature is absence of intrinsic existence, then there cannot be flower, there cannot be rice, there's nothing there, right? They can see. Therefore, thus, Nagarjuna protector hold the one must seek the emptiness of intrinsic existence and the middle way on the very basis of the teaching of cause and effect. That is cause and effect. Now you can say opposite, right? Other people think if you believe in absence of intrinsic existence, nothing can be possible. Clear? Nothing can be possible. Nagarjuna said, if you believe in absence of intrinsic existence, everything possible. Otherwise, cannot be happen anything. Thus, Nagarjuna protector hold that one must seek emptiness of intrinsic existence and the middle way on the very basis of teaching of cause and effect. That is the production, cessation of specific effect on dependent upon the specific cause and condition. If you really don't understand, very simply you think everything happen around me is happen merely what? Merely dependent arising. Clear? When you feel hot, when you go outside, you feel hot. When you come in, you feel cool. Why? You feel cool, why? Icon. Outside, there's no icon. Right? That's why you feel hot. The hotness comes from the sunlight. The hotness comes from the hot air. Inside you feel cold because there's a cold air produced from the air condition. That means you just think whatever happened around me, the happiness, the suffering, the beautiful, the ugly, everything happened merely dependent on something, merely dependent arising. Everything arises, everything exists dependently. The nature of all phenomena, the nature is absence of intrinsic existence. Nothing exists inherently. Everything, the nature, all phenomena, nature is absence of intrinsic existence. Absence of independent entity. Absence of ultimate phenomena. Absence. If you think this way, therefore, when you see beautiful object, until now for us, wow, the object is so beautiful, I like it. I like it. Your mind is goes there, right? After your minds go there, if you just remember, yes, it's beautiful, but beautiful is not arise independently. It depends on many causes, condition. Then, the before you think the object is so beautiful, the mind become more, weaker. Before very strong. Therefore, you just think this way very often. So therefore, the next is Nagarjuna fundamental treatise. That which is arise dependently, we explain as a emptiness, right? That means whatever arise, dependently, the nature is emptiness. This emptiness is dependent designation. This is the middle way. Clear? Arising dependently, nature is emptiness. The nature is emptiness, arising dependently, depend on designation. This is the middle way. The next sentence, because there is no phenomena that is not dependent arising, right? There's no phenomenon that is not dependent arising. All phenomena are dependent arising. There's no phenomena that is not empty. That means all phenomena, we should not say directly empty. All phenomena, the nature is emptiness, right? In the very fine level, everything is empty. Empty, right? Empty. For example, when you look at the cup of, full of water, a cup of full of water, when you look at the cup, you can see there's a water. You cannot say the cup is empty. The meaning empty is there's nothing in it. Then we can see, in generally, we can see, oh, my cup is empty. The cup is empty, the pot is empty, the house is empty. Empty meaning there's not something there. The meaning empty is different, right? Empty. Now I say, in the cup which is full of water, the nature is emptiness. Mean the the cup which is full of water, the cup, the nature is absence of inherent, intrinsic absence of intrinsic existence. The nature is empty of independent entity. That means, yes, there's a water, there's a cup. The water and cup both, the nature is absence of what? Intrinsic existence. Why the nature is absence of intrinsic existence? Why? Because the cup, the water, both is dependent arising. Dependent arising means is arising depend on something. Then is reject the independent arising. Right? Therefore you can see, so you must memorize this sentence, you can chant every day. When you're the bus, you say, the bus is emptiness. The people thought, not really empty, it's very crowded. Right? Then now you can see the meaning of emptiness which is you say, the emptiness what people understood is different. You are talking about empty of intrinsic existence. The people thought empty of people. That's a different, right? The next sentence here, thus Nagarjuna says, the dependent arising are necessarily empty of intrinsic existence. Very important word. What? The dependent arisings are necessarily empty of intrinsic existence. Generally, let's say, in this house, there's no empty space. We cannot go in, we cannot come out, right? If there's no any empty space, can you come in? Can you enter? No, there's no empty. Therefore, there's an empty space. We can go in, we can come out. If there's no any empty space, it is impossible to say go in and come out. That means all phenomena, the nature is absence of intrinsic existence. Therefore, something arising, something decay, because it depends on arising, depend on something, decay also depend on something, right? That's why Nagarjuna says the dependent arisings are necessarily empty of intrinsic existence. Make sure when you read the sentence, yeah, you can read very well, right? But you must get the proper understanding in your mind, proper understanding. Necessarily, very interesting, look at, in the ancient time, people say, thing, they be pointed in the head, right? Be compassion, you never say be compassion, you say be compassion, right? Why? When you think about something, brain is very important. You are very intelligent, but compassion must be from your heart, right? Heart. That means you should not just get the knowledge in your brain. You get the knowledge, use the knowledge and bring into your heart. Therefore, look at dependent arisings are necessarily empty of existence. Do not turn this statement on its head by claiming that whatever is produced in independence on cause and condition must be intrinsically existent. Right? We must think the dependent arisings are necessarily empty of intrinsic existence. You should not say another way. How?
Empty of intrinsic existence?
Do not turn this statement. When you turn this statement, how you should turn? Dependent arising are necessarily not empty of intrinsic existence. You should not turn the statement. Right? Look at claiming that what is produced independent on causes and condition, then must intrinsic existence. You should not turn the statement that way. The next sentence, please read. For empty makes sense. Makes sense. Nothing makes sense. I bow down to the Buddha, the uncalled supreme teacher, who taught the emptiness, dependent arising, and the middle way, or the single meaning. Now look at, for whomever emptiness makes sense, everything makes sense. For us is opposite, right? Whoever emptiness makes sense, nothing makes sense. Right? For us. When you say everything, the nature is emptiness, then you think there cannot be anything. Right? For us, opposite. Nagarjuna said, whomever emptiness makes sense. If you understand emptiness, right, then you can understand everything is possible. If you don't understand emptiness, nothing makes sense. Then last sentence, there look at emptiness, dependent arising, middle way, all the single meaning. This meaning is just, there's one meaning. Middle way mean emptiness. Emptiness mean dependent arising. Dependent arising mean emptiness. Okay? Again here, if you really don't understand what does mean, if I ask, what does mean emptiness? You say, meaning dependent arising. What does mean dependent arising? Middle way. What does mean middle way? You go again. Emptiness. What is emptiness? Again, dependent arising. Then people thought, I'm asking what does mean emptiness? Yes, you say dependent arising. I still don't understand. What does mean dependent arising? Middle way. Okay, middle way. What does mean middle way? Again, emptiness. Then people thought you cannot answer my question. Right? Do you remember the analogy I gave you a few times? The person who forgot gun.
Yes. He bring a gun to the somewhere and then go toilet, and then he forgot his gun. Then people ask, where is your gun? Oh, where I go toilet. Then where is the toilet? Where I put my gun.
Yeah. Right? He said, oh, where's the gun? Oh, I forgot my gun where I pee. Yes, right? That he wants to know where did you pee? Where I forgot my gun. It's same, right? What is emptiness? Dependent arising. Dependent as a middle way. No. That means actually why things in all phenomena, the nature is emptiness. Why all phenomena, the nature is absence of intrinsic existence. Why? Because of dependent arising. Is arising dependently, then the nature is absence of independent entity. Right? This means you must know, therefore, for example, okay, another, I don't know for you bit easy to understand or not. For me, I think when I was studying, I feel quite easy. Okay. There's a Tibetan master who explained dependent arising, okay, emptiness or dependent arising. There's a two meaning, right? Two words. dependent. Second, arising. Dependent, arising. We depend called Ten Jung. Ten Jung. Dependent mean ten. Arising mean Jung. Ten Jung. Two words. The two words refute two extremes. Two extreme. Two extreme. What are the two extreme? Extreme of annihilation, extreme of absolutism. When say dependent, it refute absolutism. Absolutism. Okay, when you say dependent, it refute absolutism. Clear? Dependent. When you say arising, it refute the nihilism. It is not the nothingness. It's arising. Arising exists. It not exists absolutely. It exists dependently. These are two words refute two extremes. Okay? Therefore, when you say dependent arising, dependent mean is refute independent arise, independent existence, independent phenomena. Clear? Second, you think about arising. You refute nihilation. It's not nothingness, it's arise. How arise? Arise dependently. Okay, the analogy here. So, you went to the palace. In the ancient time, we have a palace, then there's a king. Then there must be a lot of servants. Servant, right? Servant. Then you have a question. You got a question. Hey, what are you going to do tomorrow morning? You ask to the servant. What are you going to do tomorrow morning? The servant will answer, I don't know. Right? If the servant say, I don't know, then what do you think? Okay, you are in the palace, you met a servant, then you ask question to the servant, hey, what are you going to do for tomorrow? What are you going to do tomorrow? The servant said, I don't know. Then what do you feel, what do you think? The servant is not freedom to do, not free to do. Right? Say, I don't know. That means you must know, oh, he's not the free person to do. Right? It does mean the person is not free to do. First question, answer. And also you ask, oh, what are you going to do for tomorrow? Answer say, the king knows. Answer, the king knows. Then what do you think? Whatever he need to do, it depends on the king. That means dependent arising. He said, I don't know. That means the person is not completely free. He must be depend on something. Okay, that means emptiness. In order to emptiness, no, that means all phenomena cannot act freely, cannot act independently. It depends on something. For example, the servant depends on the king. The servant is not free to act, right? Nothing can act freely, independently. The analogy is, given by one of the Tibetan master. He said, if you ask the servant, what are you going to do? The servant said, I don't know. You must realize the servant is not free, not freedom to do. I don't know. He said, I don't know. The king knows. Then this man must know the servant is merely depend on the king. Okay, dependent arising means like two words. Then The next sentence, the uncalled Tathagata taught that because all things are empty of entity existence, things are dependent arising. The next sentence, those who cling to the self or the world. Okay, that means cling to the self as independent, the world where they live is independent, as though they were not contingent or captivated by extreme views of permanence, impermanence. The last paragraph, last stanza, before this, those who hold the contingent things, like a moon reflected in the water, are either neither real nor unreal. They are not captivated by such as wrong views. Now you think about this analogy, moon reflecting in water. Okay, now you are, next to the water, you saw the moon reflection in the water. Right, water. Now you think the moon is real or not? Not. Is real or not? It referred to what? Is real? Are you asking is the real moon or not? Then you say yet it's not real moon. It's a reflection of the moon. It is real or not? Yet it is real. It's a real reflection. Reflection is real, right? That means here, neither real nor unreal. Neither real means it is not real, the moon which is in the sky, right? No, it is unreal at the moon which is in the sky. It is real be as a reflection. Why the water put analogy? In order to reflect, we need a very clear object. We need a clear phenomena, like a mirror, like a water, right? One is the reflection. Second is the, according to Madhyamaka school, what the magician horse, right? They can use many other, analogy, but they use the magician, right? Magician horse. Why? For example, we are totally new. We went to the theater to see the magician things. So certainly if we saw a horse or dog, it's so cute. What do you think is a real dog? You think, wow, it's so nice, so cute. You really like the dog. You really don't know the dog is the magician, or magician dog, right? Dog. What thing we need in order to appear something as a dog, something as a horse, something as a human? What we need? What condition we need? There are three conditions. Okay. First, they need a particular substance in order to perform thing as a horse. They need very particular substance, clear substance like a stone or particular stone. Second, they need particular mantra to transform the thing as a horse, right? Substance, then mantra. Third, through the mantra, through the substance, they polluted your eyes consciousness. Polluted your eyes consciousness. That means your consciousness become different as before. It's become different. That's why everything. Somebody you think a horse, a dog, like cow, or human. Three things are very important, right? What are they? Substance, mantra, then polluted. Substance, okay, substance. So we have the substance to perceive thing as a intrinsic existence. We have a substance because many lifetime, we always clinging, we always, hold, everything exists independently, everything exists inherently. That means we have the tendency, we have the imprint in our mind. This is the sit. Second, the mantra, right? Mantra, because we use our own mind, how things are exist. So our mind has a very limited ability to know the reality. So we keep using our own mind, how things are exist, think many often. Then it look like reciting mantra. Then again, the wrong view become more solid. Then all our five senses, all our mind, completely polluted by ignorance. That's why, in order to perceive something as a horse or dog, the musician horse and dog, three things are very important: substance, mantra, the polluted senses. That we have a tendency, we use our own, ability, then we have the ignorance. Three things. That's why, reflect in the water, or, the musician horse. Thus, Nagarjuna says, that is precisely because of being dependent arising that phenomena are empty of existence. This explanation, that depend arising, is the meaning of emptiness. That is to say, the absence of intrinsic existence is the unique system of Nagarjuna protector. Unique system of the Nagarjuna. That means, whatever arising from causes condition, the nature must be absence of intrinsic existence. Whatever the thing, the nature is absence of intrinsic existence, there must be dependent arising. Okay, now we just turn page number, I think, I make a mark here, somewhere, okay. Okay, just go the dependent arising and emptiness. First, look like there's a question, right? How is it that all of sacred existence and nirvana is possible in the system that assess emptiness? This kind of question, right? What can you read the question? Nirvana is possible in the system emptiness. That's why many times Nagarjuna have been saying, emptiness makes sense, everything makes sense. For you, not emptiness doesn't make sense, nothing makes sense. Now they ask real question, how is all of, for example, samsara, nirvana is possible? The system that accept emptiness. If you really believe in emptiness, if you really able to accept emptiness, everything is possible. If you're not able to accept, if you're not able to understand emptiness, then the nirvana, samsara, nothing impossible. Then, as I will explain below, the proponents of the view that all things are empty of intrinsic existence argue there is the possible for reasoning of things arising dependent on causes and condition. Right? That means empty of existence mean dependent on causes and condition. This being the case, now dependent arising is tangible within the emptiness of existence. Number one, okay, number one, what it say? Dependent arising is tangible within the emptiness of intrinsic existence. Then, and when dependent arising is tangible, suffering is also tangible. Now you must go step by step. Okay, not just the reading level, understanding level. So dependent arising is tenable, then within the emptiness of intrinsic existence. Clear? That means emptiness of intrinsic existence is there, then dependent arising can be there. Right? Otherwise, even though you say, dependent arising, you just saying, you don't understand dependent arising. If you understand absence of intrinsic existence, for you, dependent makes sense. Right? First, emptiness, then you go to understand dependent arising. When you understood dependent arising, then what you going to understand? Suffering. Because suffering may be attributed only to what arises in dependence on causes and condition. Right? If you understand dependent arising, then for you understand makes sense suffering, happiness, because suffering must has a causes and condition. There's a causes condition for suffering. The suffering arise. There are causes condition of the happiness. Therefore, happiness arise. Right? Dependent arising understood, then emptiness. Suffering attributed to only the what arise in dependence on cause and condition. It cannot be attributed to what does not arise dependently. Right? That means once you understand emptiness, you will understand dependent arising. Once you understand dependent arising, you will understand suffering. The meaning of suffering, the attributes, the attribute of suffering mean arising in dependence on causes and condition. It cannot be attribute to what does not arise dependent arising. When you say, yes, I accept suffering, I understand suffering, but the suffering is not arise from causes and condition, then does not make sense. Okay? Step number one, you must understand emptiness. You will understood emptiness, you will understand dependent arising. When you understood dependent arising, you will understand suffering. Then next, when the true suffering exists, then the origin from which arise. Right? Once you understood truth of suffering, then you will understand the origin of suffering, which is arise the suffering. Clear? Are you sure? I say, understand, everybody say yes. Okay, yeah, I think everybody understood very well. When truth suffering exists, then the origins from which it arises, the cessation that is stopping of the suffering, and the path leading to the cessation. Now look at emptiness understood. You understood emptiness, you will understand dependent arising. You will understood dependent arising, you will understand suffering. When you really understand suffering, then you will understand the origin of suffering, which is arise the suffering. right? Suffering. Then, when you understood the origin of suffering, then you will understand the cessation. Cessation, that is stopping the suffering. Then next, when you understood, stopping of the suffering, then you will understand the path leading to the cessation are tangible. Thus, now you can see, based on emptiness, you will understood dependent arising. Based on dependent arising, you will understand the Four Noble Truths, right? Thus, Four Noble Truths exist. When the Four Noble Truths exist, then it is possible what? To understand, to eliminate, and to actualize the first three truths respectively. That means now you know here, look at, when the four truths exist, then possible to understand. Understand what? Understand suffering. Eliminate what? Origin of suffering. Actualize what? The path which is leading to the cessation. Look at, very important, says understand, eliminate, actualize. Exactly what Buddha said, recognize truth of suffering, eliminate the origin of suffering, achieve the cessation, cultivate the path. Right? First three truths, path. When such as practice exists, now, the understand, eliminate, actualize. If you really understand this practice exists, then what happened? Then everything, the three jewels and so forth, tangible. Right? If you understood understand the suffering. If you understand, eliminate the truth of origin of suffering. If you understand, actualize the path, then when you understand the Four Noble Truths, then when you understand the three jewels. Otherwise, you just believe, right? You believe, you always say, you pray to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, you really don't have the solid understanding. Now, at the Chandrakirti clear words, for those whom this emptiness of intrinsic existence of all things makes sense, then everything that has been mentioned, what mentioned? Samsara, Nirvana, triple gems, Four Noble Truths, mention also make sense. Why? Right? We say Chichir. Why? Because we call independent arising emptiness. Thus, dependent arising makes sense in the system in which emptiness makes sense, is similar. Now we just, I think, jump is the quotation is very similar meaning. Nagarjuna, refutation of objection. You should understood that what makes sense and what, the meaning of sense or doesn't make sense. Therefore, you should understand that what makes sense and what doesn't make sense here refer to what? Whether those things exist. Make sense mean exist. Doesn't make sense mean non-exist. That's why, as cited earlier, an objection of the essential appear in the Nagarjuna. If all things are completely without intrinsic nature, then your word also lack intrinsic nature, and thus cannot refute intrinsic existence. Right? Now you can see more clearly here. The Master Nagarjuna clearly answers the functionality is tangible within the context of the absence of extrinsic existence. Right? He was very clear about his standpoints. Next sentence. We propound that the dependent arising of the thing is called emptiness. That which is arise dependently has no intrinsic nature. Then next one, failing to comprehend the emptiness of things, you essentialists look for the something to criticize and argue against the middle Madhyamaka's saying. Your word, what does he say? Everything is empty of. So what's the problem for the other school? If everything lack in intrinsic existence, what's the problem? Then your words, your words also lack intrinsic existence. Then what's problem? Then you cannot refute, you cannot prove, because it's empty of intrinsic. Right? No, your words lack intrinsic nature and therefore cannot refute the intrinsic existence of thing. Here is a Madhyamaka, the dependent arising of the thing is emptiness. Why? Because they lack intrinsic nature. Thus things that arise independently are not associated with the intrinsic nature because they lack intrinsic nature. Why? Because they are really on causes and condition. If things had intrinsic nature, then they would not exist even without causes and condition. Since such is not the case, the lack intrinsic nature. Therefore, we speak of them as empty. Now you can see this. The one sentence is very important. If things, please read, had intrinsic nature. Okay, once more. If thing had intrinsic nature, then they would causes and condition. Such as is not the case, intrinsic nature, empty. That's why you must think, if things had intrinsic nature, then they would exist even without causes condition. Right? That means, something exists without depend on anything. Then the thing must be exist without cause and condition. Right? Clear? If something depends on cause condition, then the thing never exists intrinsically, independently. Now I think for you more makes sense. Things depend on causes condition. The nature, all phenomena lack in intrinsic existence. Otherwise, we cannot say something arise. Right? Similarly, my words also are dependent arising and therefore are without intrinsic nature. Because they lack intrinsic nature, it is reasonable to say that they are empty. Because things such as a pot and cloth are dependent arising. They are empty of intrinsic nature. Yet, pot can receive and hold honey, water, and soup. Right? The nature of the pot is, intrinsic existence. No, the nature of the pot is absence of intrinsic existence. They doesn't have any intrinsic nature. Yet the pot can receive and hold honey and water and soup. All the clothes can protect one from the cold, wind, and sun. But the cloth nature is absence of intrinsic existence. But still they function as a protect, wind and sun. And so it is what my words, because they are dependent arising, they lack intrinsic nature, yet they are fully capable of establish what? The thing lack intrinsic existence. That means, yes, the word is, independent arising. The word is, nature is emptiness, but they're fully capable. Therefore, it is inappropriate for you to give the argument. So we say, name. let's say we give a name. We named this is as a table, this is a book. We name. Now we think about the name. Do you know in English this is cup. In Chinese, pe. Why it is pe? Why? Pe, right? Then in Chinese this what is this? P. P. Right? P. Then now you can see P in English become pen. Traditionally actually it's come from China. P become pen. Tra, ha, tra, right? Tra, cha, tra or cha. Now you can see Chinese traditionally say tra and become tree. Tra become tree. You go to India, that tree become cha. Right? There's a only two types of name you can find, only two types. One is we call the random name. You just give randomly, no reason. Sometimes you can see the thing name based on function. Function. For example, you say, function or like a shape. For example, mouse. The computer mouse. Why we name? It looks like mouse. There's a tail. It's a mouse. If you argue why this is mouse, why you give a name? They thought, why you are arguing? Be happy. Just is a function. Its function as a something name. Otherwise, we cannot talk. There are no name. You cannot talk, right? That's why generally according to Buddhist tradition, there are only two types of name. One is the random name. One is based on the function, right? That's why name can be two. For example, my name is Yonten. Why I'm Yonten? Why not I'm Tashi? Because my parents named me as a Yonten. Since this person became Yonten, it's a random, right? Random. It's not based on function. If you say I'm become Yonten because I have a unique function, I don't have anything. Right? Then again, we say, let's say laptop, computer, laptop. Why name laptop? Lap, right? Put on your lap, then you can walk as a laptop. It's based on the function. It's function on the just symbol on the lap. They call laptop. Then what's the mean top? Huh?
Top of the lap, on the top of your lap.
Yeah. Look at this means name has there's maybe two reasons. It's linked with the connect with your question. That's why we should not say mind only school. You can say merely mind school. Merely mind school. Then even though also Chitta Mantra, according to Chitta Mantra school, you should not think merely mind means there's only mind. There is nothing else than the mind. No, it's true, not true. There's a fire, you can cook food. There's a water, you can drink. It's just why you are thirsty. There's a fire, is there. Also, if the fire is only named, only mind, then what happened? For example, let's say right now we are in the TBC. The city Sikor Mall is where? Behind TBC. If the city Sikor Mall is only your mind, you have to be where? Within your body, within you. Right? Then you don't have to go. Why you are going? City Sikor Mall is in your mind. That means it's proof. The city Sikor Mall is there, mind is here. But the city Sikor Mall is merely mind. Merely mind. There's a lot of explanation because when the things appear to you, there's a few conditions. It's depend on the imprint. For example, when you have a dream, so we don't know why very often you have an elephant dream in an elephant in your dream, horse. Someday you can have a same dream for many times. Why? Why? So according to Chitta Mantra they answered, whatever things appear to you, it linked with your imprint, mental imprint. How? Set one egg. If you cut into two pieces, the egg become two pieces. The origin two pieces is just one, then became two pieces. For example, before you were born, you have the imprint, or you have a particular karma in your mind. After you born, the karma split, right? Split, become many parts. Let's mainly two parts. One become subject, mind. Half become object, house, food. That means actually, the house is there. Actually, the house come from where? Your karma become two pieces. One transformed as an object, one transformed as a mind. That means the root is one. The stesikoromol, the mind which perceives the stesikoromol, the origin is just one. That's mind, the karma or the imprint became two. Then the karma is the continue of the one of the mind. Therefore they call mind only school is wrong. We must say merely mind, because there's a mind became imprint. After imprint become two pieces. One transfer as a like a object. One transfer as a subject. Is duality? Okay. Conventionally, you can see there's a two. Let's say right now we have our individual world. Also we have our common world. We have a common Singapore. You are unique Singapore. Okay, you remember there's a karmas. What you call collective karma, individual karma. We must know collective and individual. The Singapore is resolved as a collective karma. All Singaporean, the people who live here, collective. Then there's individual karma. When you are born, according to Chitta Mantra School, when you are born, you produce your own Singapore through your karma. After you pass away, everything also carry with you. That means you project and dissolve. You go next life. How we know this one? For example, I think everybody has experience. Also, you can see. I told the story, I think many times. In my lifetime, I wasn't there in my house. I was in South India. When my father was alive, so we are very simple family. My father passed all the property for my brother. He kept just, I think, small field. Then how, he occupy other land, make a new field. And due to somehow, even though he passed most of them to my brother, but somehow he have a lot of things. He has a lot of cow, sheep, donkey, horse. If we cannot take care, we give away. Lot of. Then when he passed away, at the same time, one of the yak also died. So after since he passed away, all the property decay, right? Decay because the decline. So what is the relation? What is the connection? So everything happened in good way because of his karma. Repent as all the object. He passed away, he bring his own karma, then everything going to look like decline. Also you can see, you say, oh, this boy, this guy is very lucky because since he born, everything what called became prosperate. Oh, this boy is very unlucky. Since he born, we have a lot of problems. Why is happened? Someone born prosperity. Someone born big problem. Why? The Chitta Mantra answer, someone born, the karma split. One transfer as a subject, one transfer as an object. When he pass away, he bring his own karma, go, then everything is finished. Right? Karma. Okay. So this is, I think, Chitta Mantra, which says, merely mind. You should not say mind only. Yes.
Just now you say the magician horse and the substance.
Mm-hmm.
May I ask, is space and illustrations, is space and illustrations of substance, is time illustration of substance?
No. So, in the magician level, the rock, the bone, whatever is the external substance. Therefore, without any, like a rock, small piece of rock, like bone, something, they cannot produce, the magician horse. They need a particular substance, we call external substance. Then I told you the mind must be polluted. Then the magician must be recite a mantra. This is about analogy, okay? Then second, why we have all the misperception. Things are impermanent. It's changing momentarily, but we don't understand. We have a mistaken about impermanence. Also, we have a mistaken about how things are exist. Actually, everything exists. Everything arises merely designation, merely dependent arising. Everything is merely dependent arising, but we don't understand. Why we have this kind of misperception? Then I told you the substance. As a magician horse, it has substance. In order to, we have all the misunderstanding, misperception, because we have the mental substance, which is the habits, or you can call what you call imprint. Many lifetime, we have the habit. Things exist as independently. This internal substance. Then the polluted, the ignorant is look like example was given by Nagarjuna again, also Buddha. Body and body sense. We have 5 sensations, right? Eyes consciousness, body consciousness, or body sense. All parts of your body is what you would call pervasive. Do you remember the three types of suffering? Pervasive. All your body senses, consciousness, pervasive, all parts of body. All parts of body. And you can feel hurt. Because wherever is the body, the sensation is there. So it means all minds, even the compassion, kindness, tolerance, all minds is bit polluted by the ignorance. That means I said, if your mind is polluted, then you can see the magician horse. If your mind is not polluted, other people can see the magician horse, but you cannot see. The polluted look like the ignorance. The mantra, many lifetime we familiarize with the things exist independently. Then that means now we have little time related to the appearance and clinging. We have, for us, everything perceived as a things are independently perceived. Also, we hold, we cling, right? We clinging thing as a independent or inherent existence. That means appear as independent. Also, we think. Also, we cling on it. Think as a independent phenomena, right? Now, both appear as an independent phenomena, but not clinging. Both, none of them. Clear? First, appear as a inherent existence, appearing, as well as clinging. Appearing, clinging. Someone just appeared as an independent phenomena, but not clinging. Somebody doesn't have any of them. No appearance, no clinging. For us, both. Something, everything appear us as a inherent existence. Also, we clinging. That means, the people who watching the magician horse, for them, they can appear the horse, also they clinging the thing as a horse. So we have a both. Then the person who realize emptiness, realize through the study, through analysis, they realize emptiness. They realize still they can perceive thing as a independent existence, inherent existence, but they don't have the clinging. Clinging. For example, when the magician who is no real horse, still you can see horse, but you cannot believe, you cannot think this is a real horse. Then you never say, oh, the horse is so nice. It's a magic horse. That means who realize emptiness, recently or just few years, everything appeared them as an independent phenomena, but they never clinging on it as independent. Then, the practitioner who reached to very high level practices, they don't have both. For example, the arhat who fully meditate on emptiness, single-pointed meditation on emptiness, they don't have both, no appearance, no clinging. They don't have an appearance independent existence because that time they have only one mind. The mind is fully meditated on emptiness. There's no way things perceive them as independent phenomena. Right? That means this is in the reality. Now let's say magician place. Our mind is polluted by the mantra or the substance. We see there's a horse, also we clinging is a horse. Then someone come after us. So the person didn't hear the mantra. For him or her cannot see anything because his mind is not polluted by mantra. He cannot see anything. He look like the arhat who meditated on emptiness. Then the magician himself, also he can see there's a horse. The magician can perceive there's a horse, but he never clinging. He knows he's not a real horse. Okay, that means in the reality like that, in the analogy level, magician, horse, the polluted. Okay. Okay. So so we should have a few question answer, then we can stop.
So can I go back to 132? It says
132
at the end.
32. Okay.
When Nagarjuna says that dependent arisings are necessary empty of intrinsic existence, It's the second part that I don't quite get. Do not turn this statement
Oh,
on
yeah.
its head by claiming that what is produced independent of
130,
132. 132.
132. Okay, yeah. Okay, first you can see, thus Nagarjuna says, he says what? What did he say? Are necessarily empty of existence. That means there's a two meaning, right? Dependent arising and emptiness. That means he says dependent arising are. That means everything dependent arising. Arising are necessarily empty of existence. This is the Nagarjuna statement. If you turn, that means he said, do not turn this statement on its head by clinging that. Now the person is turned the statement. How? You can see. What is the produce is dependence on causes condition. That means he's saying same thing. Okay? Produce, the phenomena which is produce is depend on causes condition. The next must existence is become opposite. That's he said you should not turn this statement. You keep the statement as dependent arising are necessarily empty existence. You should not turn the statement. Because rest of the proponent, rest of the flower, the school flower said same thing. Produce independent on causes condition. Now we just turn the statement. Dependent arising are necessarily intrinsically existent. If you turn it, it's become like that.
Would this be the essentialist view?
Yes. Essentialist view, whatever arises from causes condition must intrinsically exist. Must intrinsically exist. Otherwise, cannot happen anything. Cannot be anything. But your second question, is it okay? Okay. Any question? Lot of question. Yeah.
Karma also dependent on rising.
Yes. Okay, first we make a simple statement. Do you remember? There's nothing which is not dependent arising. All dependent arising must be necessarily lack of intrinsic existence. That means everything dependent arising. That means arising means dependently exist. Arising not necessarily arising from causes and condition. For example, permanent phenomena. Permanent phenomena also arise. We can say arise, not depend on causes condition, depending on something. Right? For example, when we need to talk about impermanent, we cannot talk just impermanent without apply on something. Impermanent of the house, impermanent of the table, impermanent of my body. You have to link with something, right? Right? Same thing, permanent phenomena. There's not just permanent phenomena which is not relying on anything. Permanent of the, this house. Permanent of that house. Permanent of this book and this book, so and so. That means when we say, emptiness of this house, we are talking about emptiness related to this house. Right? This house. Then the house become what? The house is do you remember the three bases? Do you remember three natures Actually, this is also wrong translation. This is a three nature. Yeah, imputed nature, established nature. We call Tibetan we call Senyi Sum. Three phenomena. Dependent phenomena mean. That's mean according to Chitta Mantra School, all phenomena we can divide into three categories, three groups. Dependent nature, dependent phenomena. Second, imputed phenomena. Third is established or ultimate phenomena. Three things, right? Let's look at. Now we talk about based on this book. This book itself is independent nature. Actually, dependent nature. Dependent nature. Right? Dependent nature. Even though it's not the correct. In Tibetan we say Zhenwang, other powered. Do you remember the word other powered? Power and other powered. Other powered. Second is imputed. No. Second is the established nature. Third is the imputed nature. Everything linked with this book. The book itself is the other powered nature or dependent nature. Then emptiness of the book is established or ultimate nature within this book. Then imputed nature has a two meaning. One is exist, one is not exist. Okay? That means look at emptiness of the book. Without this book, you cannot poison, right? Poison, emptiness of the book. Emptiness of the book is depend on what? The book. Now you can see emptiness of the book. Emptiness of the book is depend on the book. That means emptiness depend on something. It's not depend on causes condition. It depend on something. That's why we call dependent on causes condition. Dependent on cause, so past and whole. Dependent on name and thoughts. Right? This means even though permanent phenomena depending on something, but not dependent on causes and condition. Then I asked at a few times this question. I personally, when we think of permanent, can I really accept permanent phenomena or not? I personally, bit difficult to accept the permanent phenomena. How many of you cannot accept permanent phenomena? How many of you really accept permanent phenomena? Okay, let's say how many of you can really say there's a permanent phenomena? Okay, permanent phenomena. Very good. Any of want to say? Okay, can you posit right, the permanent phenomena? No, karma is conditioned phenomena. Yeah, you can say karma. Yeah, we can just, we find out, we curious about your view, why karma is permanent phenomena, permanent. Why?
Because it's always happening.
That means,
Because you cannot get rid of it.
Okay. Karma become, yes, you believe in karma. Karma cannot wash away, cannot eliminate. Right? You believe it cannot eliminate. Can you eliminate conditioned phenomena? Cannot. Where you go, you can see the conditioned phenomena. This life, next life, even after you become still, you can see conditioned phenomena. Or your mind is always there. Okay. Let's say, talk about karma. Let's say, karma is not just one phenomena. Not just one single, right? Many karmas. Positive karma, negative karma. Within the positive karma, if karma is permanent, we cannot accumulate. We cannot accumulate. Don't have to accumulate. It's permanent, not depend on causes condition. That means karma cannot be permanent phenomena. Always be impermanent because accumulate through our action. Action. That means karma cannot be permanent. Believe in permanent phenomena? Space. Space.
What about time? Is time permanent, phenomenon?
Time is definitely, this morning weather was hot. Afternoon become cooler, evening become very cool. Time is changing.
No, that's not time that change, that's temperature that change.
A temperature change. Okay, without relying on something, can you posit time? When you say morning time, it depends on what? The sunrise. Afternoon time, it also depends on the sun. Evening time also depends on the sun. That's why, many scientists believe, absolute, they don't believe absolute time. Do you remember I don't want to talk too much for you, time. That means time also depends. For example, one person can run, let's say, can be run 1 kilometer within 10 minutes. 10 minutes. One person cannot run 10 kilometers within 10 minutes. The time is depend on what? Depend on motion, movement. Wow, the time was so fast. We say, oh, so fast. The movement is so fast because the time is so fast. You say, wow, today is so long, so bored. That day become you too long because you have a very slow motion. If your motion is very fast, time is fast. Time is also depend on something. Time cannot be permanent. Anything else? Space. Let's say space. Which space are you talking about? Space of the cup? Space of this house? What space? Space of Singapore?
Generally space.
Yeah.
Universal space.
There's not general space. We did not rely on anything. There must be, say, Singaporean space, Indian space, Malaysian space. The space have to divide on something. Let's say this is also my problem. According to the Buddhist philosophy, cup is impermanent. The space of the cup is permanent. Cup is impermanent. Space of the cup is permanent. When I break the cup, then there cannot be, the cup space cannot be there. Then when the cup change, the space of cup also change. When Singapore becomes smaller, the Singapore space also become smaller. When you expand, you are expanding the land, right? Feel the land expand. When you expand the land, Singapore space become bigger. The Singapore space is depend on Singapore, become bigger or smaller. But here you must know the meaning of impermanence. We are not just, the meaning of impermanence is not just in the changing is the meaning. No. Do you remember? Everything has changed. All the conditioned phenomena has changing because you should not say again impermanence. Huh? You should not say I forget my gun, can't forget where. Why all conditioned phenomena is impermanent? Why is changing momentarily? Why? Huh? Sorry?
There's some substance for change.
Some substance for change. What kind of substance? Let's say this is a book. I hold this book in my hand, right? You can see. Can you see the book is moving? Why this book is moving? My hand is moving. My hand is moving. That's why the book must be moved. Because the book is depend on this hand. This book depend on what? Cause and condition. The cause has changed. Condition has changed. The book must change. You can see the plant. You just put the hot water. Next morning you can see. But it's spoil and change because the cause change, the plant change. That means condition phenomena is changing momentarily because the causes condition has only one moment, remain one moment. It's constantly changing. That's why everything is changing constantly. Clear? Now you know impermanence meaning is changing momentarily. It's changing momentarily because of its own causes condition. Now you can see if I break the cup, the space has gone. The cup of space no more there. It's changed. The space of cup is changed because not causes condition. It changed. The basis is changed. The basis of the space has changed. Then we can consider the space is changed. It's not changing through causes condition. Okay, that means impermanence means changing momentarily by its own cause. Own causes condition, right? That's why I told you in the many time. Change can be by two conditions. One is the other condition. One is its own causes condition. For example, what is this? Marker pen. I touch or I don't touch. It just live here. It will change, constantly change. It's changing by its own causes condition. If I break, also you can see change. This changes not it causes condition. It changes by some other. That means the gross impermanent can be depend on other condition. The subtle impermanent depend on its own causes and condition, which is I told you, the book is moving because my hand is moving. My hand is moving because. Can you see the book is moving? Why? My hand is moving. Why my hand is moving? Yeah. I have a motivation. I thought I should move. It's moving. I thought stop. It stopped. Right? That means. Then also the related the motivation. For example, you shoot an arrow, bullet. Some bullet can go how many meters? 10 meter cannot be more than 10. Let's say the modern time there's a very good, very professional gun. When you trigger, the bullet go, let's say 10 kilometers. No, it cannot be, right? Let's say 10 kilometers. After 10 kilometers, the bullet going to drop. Why? They must be dropped because they throw only until 10 kilometers. Then must be dropped. That means all conditioned phenomena changing momentarily because they produce only remain for one moment. Second moment have to change. Like bullet must be dropped after 1 or 10 kilometers because when they throw bullet certain amount of the spots, they cannot throw furthermore, cannot go furthermore because the gun doesn't have ability to throw more than 10 kilometers. This means all conditioned phenomena changing momentarily. Let's say arise, then decay, arise, decay. It's just constantly changing because of the causes condition. They grows only for one moment. That's why changing. Okay, we can stop here. So the next class will be in May.